Opinionated and now caffeinated. Wake Up Warchant is fueled by DeLuna Coffee. Come explore our world of coffee. Founded in 2014 by the Lemmix family, Ed, Courtney, and their son, Brett, DeLuna Coffee is Florida State through and through. The pursuit of the perfect blend of coffee beans is a 365-day effort for the family, but they'll always find time to tailgate for their Noles in the autumn. Stand at attention for their red, white, and brew. In honor of armed forces, the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard, DeLuna has created this fair trade organic blend. Enjoy this premium French roast coffee and salute to the good old USA. Use the promo code WARCHANT15 for a 15% discount. Visit DeLunaCoffee.com and check out their Facebook and Instagram.
From Tally to Cali,
it's time
to wake up.
Wake up, wake up, wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source.
And this is Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Coffee's for closers only.
Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan
and Corey Clark.
I've been on my get back, couple bags slow.
Wake up! What's up, everybody? It's Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee, DeLunaCoffee.com. Come explore our world of coffee. Go explore their website, everybody. Seriously, go over to DeLunaCoffee.com. Man, Ed and Brett threw together a super cool package for all of our great listeners. I guess this is in spirit, Corey, of maybe the 4th of July coming up, because it's a bundle that includes their red, white, and brew. Red, white, and blue, red, white, and brew. And
oh, I get it. Yeah, I get it.
And coffee beans that are covered with chocolate. And that awesome tumbler that looks so smooth because it's white. Like this icy white helmet, Corey, is what all the kids are talking about. The icy white tumbler is what you're going to want. This is a $55 value. Ed is just a maniac. He's a lunatic. Maybe even a delunatic, Corey. $40 bucks for our Warchant subscribers. So, and our listeners here on Wake Up Warchant. So head on over to DeLunaCoffee.com. Click on the Warchant icon. You'll get the special.
And send us a tweet when you hook it up, when you get when you buy from DeLuna at all, but especially when you take advantage of that deal. Send us a tweet with your picture and a picture of you with all the goodies.
Yeah, Ed raising the ante. It's usually a 15% discount using that promo code, but this is a 25% discount. Again, a $55 value for $40. That tumbler itself is worth the $40. That might even change your life. Corey joining us. West of Tallahassee, not in the northern offices, not in Warchant North, up in the greater Atlanta area. You're down in PCB. Has Brady raked yet, or is that coming on later this week?
That comes later today.
Okay.
No, we got here. Sunday is the parade day, so you get to go a parade down through Pier Park. How exciting is that?
Ooh.
And then they do a little pin trading, whatever that entails or means. Haven't done that part yet. And then be here at least through Thursday playing baseball games. So. Exciting stuff. Got a cool house on the beach with some cool teammate and his parents. So should be fun, man.
Awesome.
And Stephanie. Sorry. Stephanie heard me say that and looked at her. Yeah, I was saving the best for last. And Shanna and her husband. It's gonna be. It's not a normal, I would say, a vacation stay. You know, an ex-husband and an ex-wife bringing their significant others to the same beach house. But hey, we're all in it for Brady. We all get along, so it should be a lot of fun.
Yeah, your life is a sitcom, practically. Someone needs to make it adapt into a TV series already. Look in the item description. Should have Michael Langston on later on in the program to talk about recruiting.
What a weekend.
Holy as we sit here. They had four dudes, 2 offensive linemen, Kanaya Charlton, Quayshawn Sapp, both out of Georgia, Peach State Products. Also, his name escapes me, but I think his last name is Williams. Kid's tape. He's from Mississippi. He's a 4-star. He's on the cusp of being like a Rivals 100 guy. He's like 6'5", 255, but he plays quarterback apparently for his high school. But he's a defensive lineman.
It's probably fun to tackle.
Yeah.
Or try to tackle, I should say.
Yeah. And then my guy, Bishop Thomas, originally from St. Augustine High School in New Orleans, David Johnson's stomping grounds. Now he's in the Orlando area. I think he's actually at Bishop. He's at some Bishop Moore High School, but his name is Bishop Thomas. Look at his film, everybody. Look at his huddle. Literally just look at the first 2 plays, and you'll be sold. So not just bodies filling in these spots, but really talented guys with huge upside. highly coveted prospect. So Michael Langston will be on to break all that down in case you want to hear 8 more minutes of what I just told you in 13 seconds. Some people appreciate 13 seconds.
Well, and they're also they're up to number 5 in the recruiting
4.
rankings. And now we're
4, Corey, come
they're
on.
They're number 4 in the recruiting rankings, which is insanity when you look at who they're sprinkled, like what teams are sprinkled around them. Mm-hmm. And then the team that went 3-6 is 4th in the country. And now we're getting to the point where it's not like, there'll be some years where whoever gets the most commitments early, they'll be way up the line, and then Alabama starts getting commitments, and Ohio State and Georgia, right. And then you start falling backwards. Like, we're in the point now in June where a lot of people have commitments in a good number, and I think Florida State's up to 12 now.
13.
12 or 13. Yeah. I mean, it's starting to be a real class. It's not like, it's just Travis Hunter and a few 3-stars, but it still averages out to the number 9 class in the country. This is Travis Hunter and a bunch of 4-stars.
Yeah.
It's just it should be exciting for Florida State fans that in one weekend they got 4 dudes on the line of scrimmage that they're very excited about. So yeah, man, hey man, it's happening. It's happening, Aslan.
It is. All right. With that said, before we get to the recruiting and some other stuff, let's roll back out the top 40, y'all. Corey's top 40 and Aslan's. Corey, let's go with our top 20s. I've got the spreadsheet that Gene meticulously composed for us. In case you don't have it, I know you're out of pocket. You're not in your usual headquarters. So let's go to the 20. So this is what 11 through 20 we go to.
You go ahead. You go ahead and read them to me.
Okay.
Go ahead and read them to me.
Let's go 20. So 20, I had Pokey. You got Robert Scott.
Yeah, Robert Scott, I probably should have put up a little higher.
Yeah,
I think he's going to contribute more. It's just I don't know how good. Like, is he going to be a great lineman, a good lineman, or a competent lineman? And I'm kind of thinking it's going to be competent right now. But still, that should be good enough.
Yeah.
So yeah, I should have him ranked higher. But he is obviously one of the top 20 players.
Yeah, I mean, he had some sort of freshman All-American designation. His grades on PFF were not overly impressive. But then again, I mean, 66 is above the threshold of, your entry sort of point. So, I mean, 66.2 is not that shabby for a true freshman who's kind of thrust into duty. So I got a good feeling about him. I think he's a little bit higher on my list. But number 19, this is where I probably little too overly optimistic perhaps. But Mako Dotson, a guy that, I think you illustrated it well a few shows ago about he's really only had one season. And it was a remarkable season, but he's kind of had a more or less unheralded kind of career. Didn't really play at all last year for Florida State. And before he starred that one season where he led the nation or was tied for the lead in interceptions at FAU, he was at Georgia Tech and kind of bounced around. So probably putting too much stock into that one season, but I'm hoping that he can regain that form in a money sort of season and be a guy that they can rely on at cornerback. 19, you've got Cam McDonald.
There you go. Yeah, I think that's about right. I don't know how big an impact a tight end will have in this offense. And to be honest with you, I haven't seen we know there's some potential there, but we haven't seen enough flashes of it, in my opinion, to put him higher than that. Like, there is a chance, both of those guys, by the way, and Miko Dotson. Like, what if Miko Dotson does have a 2019 type season? Well, then he vaults into the top 10 of this list. And McDonald could very well do that too. He might take that next step and be like a 45 catch guy. It's just I haven't seen it yet, and he's been here long enough, in my opinion.
Yes.
That if you haven't seen it, it's a prove it type of thing. It's not like I can't keep grading on potential. Let's see what kind of tight end you really are, and this is the year for him.
Yeah, I had Cam McDonald at 23rd. 18, I got Travis J. I think I have him ranked the lowest out of everybody on the panel. Again, just his reputation has really been carrying him for a while. I really haven't seen anything to make me think he'll be that sort of difference maker that everybody's hoping. You can certainly hope for it, everybody. I'm not telling you not to hope for it, but I think it's hoping. I don't think it's a certainty. I don't think it's this destiny to be the next great defensive back of Florida State. Certainly hope so, but I remain cautiously sort of bearish, if that's even a thing. For you got Steven Dix Jr. at 18.
Yeah, more about the position than the product we've seen from him so far. But you're going to have a linebacker step up, and you hope he takes the next step and becomes, especially with Emmett Rice in doubt, or at least his status unknown for the foreseeable future. Steven Dix is going to play, and you just hope that he takes a step up in which he should. I mean, he was a true freshman last year, and he was thrown into a horrible situation trying to be a true freshman linebacker on that team, on that defense last year. But I don't know that he'll have that big an impact. 18 implies that he's one of the better players on the team, obviously. One of the top, I don't know, he's in the top 25%. But it's more about what impact he could make if he is that good. If he becomes a solid college linebacker, how big that would be for the team.
Yeah. Moving along to 17, you've got the trench monster, Robert Cooper. I've got Renardo Green. I don't even know if Ira's got Renardo Green on his list. He's a guy that I think I probably overvalue, but I feel good about it, though. I'm confident in sort of my pick. I think the staff likes him. I think they felt definitely hamstrung on the defense not having him available for many games last season. I think he brings a physical presence to the secondary and some good versatility. So he's a guy that I would sort of pencil in as hopefully a difference maker for the defense if he can remain healthy and active throughout the season. You got the trench monster, Robert Cooper, 17th.
Yeah, same thing. I think that's about where Cooper is. I know he started a lot and played some games. He's not like a dynamic defensive tackle, but he can make an impact, especially in the run game. And I think that's about where he belongs, somewhere in the teens, the high teens. He's not a top 5 guy on this team, but 17 seems about right.
16, we both go with offensive linemen. I go with Dylan Gibbons, formerly of Notre Dame and CCC, Clearwater Central Catholic. Stand up. You got Dante Lucas, DePope. He tweeted out something about they've been down for too long. I swear we go and win this season. So that's a good pick, Corey. 16, Dante Lucas.
Well, let's see. Again, that's you're hoping that if he takes a step, like let's say sophomore, he was a little bit better as a sophomore than he was as a freshman. And if he gets a little bit better as a whatever he is, a redshirt sophomore now, his third year, or a lot better, then yeah, you're talking about a guy that can make an impact. He'll be starting on the offensive line, and hopefully, you just hope that maybe it clicks and he becomes one of the better offensive linemen on the team, and not just an offensive lineman, but a good one.
His tweet, ain't none to talk about. Been down so long, I swear we go win again. #humble. So
there you go.
That's
there you go, Dante. #humble. I like that.
Yeah. And then Dylan Gibbons, just again,
how can you not be humble?
Right?
You know what I mean? Like who is lacking in humility on this Florida State football team right now? How could that even be a thing? I hope they're all humble. I hope they're all working hard, but none of them should be too cocky, right?
But don't we want them? You got to be confident first before the wins start piling in, right? Or you don't want to be a fan later of yourself.
Well, you don't. Yeah, but you could mix in some humility and be humble too. Like nobody on this roster that started at Florida State has accomplished anything. So, and that goes for Dante Lucas. It goes for Cam McDonald. It goes for all of them. So hopefully there's some humility dashed in there.
Gotcha. 15, Fabian Lovett for me. Again, he's a guy that's probably going to compete for a starting position on the interior of the offensive or the defensive line, rather. Might be a little bit too low, but we'll see what works out with him. You got Pokey at 15, Corey.
Yeah, again, I think he's your number 2 receiver. Maybe he's your number 1, depending on if he can, maybe having a quarterback or a better quarterback, whether it's Jordan just being improved or McKenzie Milton being McKenzie Milton. He'll have a better quarterback throwing him the football than he's had his whole career. It's not going to be James Blackman or Alex Hornibrook or Jordan Travis, who's just kind of learning the offense. It's going to be somebody that knows what they're doing, and I think that should make him much more productive. And I don't know if he's the number 1 or the number 2. I have a feeling he'll probably be the number 2 to Parchment, but you never know. And yeah, you just hope again that guy, money year, his last year, he's produced a little. I guess he's produced more than anybody else on this football team at that position, but that's not saying a lot. But maybe this year is the year he becomes a 5-catching guy. He could become 50 to 60 catches in a year. I mean, that possibility's in there with him.
14, I've got Amari Gaynor. Amari actually graded out really high. He graded out like in the high 70s, I think, last season. Didn't see a lot of as much playing time as I guess you'd think somebody of his physical stature and his production level, at least in terms of what Pro Football Focus graded out at. They got plenty of time now to figure out, if last season was year 0, I think you have a good idea now of what Amari Gaynor can be and how you can use him. Hopefully they'll deploy him in a little bit more readiness or more sort of frequency, rather, because I think he's physically built the way you want a linebacker to be, obviously, and I think he probably has a better feel and grasp of instincts just for being around for as many years as he has with this program. You got Ja'Shawn Corbin at 14.
I do have Ja'Shawn Corbin. I like that guy. He proved to me a lot. He showed a lot at the end of the year. I thought the first half of the season he's just kind of a bulldozer, okay, which is a good thing. it's a commodity to be a guy that can pick up 3 yards on 3rd and 2. So it's not like I was dismissing that. But I feel like those last 2 or 3 games, man, he showed that he could be an impact player and rip off 15, 20-yard runs. He had a couple of really nice runs at the end of the season, showed some burst, showed some wiggle. He wasn't just a bulldozer. I think that I like Toafili more than him, but Toafili has to show that he's durable, and I think Corbin is a really nice luxury to have in your backfield. I think he's a good player.
13, I think we could go on for this one a long time if we needed to, but we don't need to. We got plenty of other stuff going on here. But 13, we got transfers from South Carolina. I got Keir Thomas. You got Jamie Robinson. I think we both value the guy that the other picked more than we have ourselves, if that made any sense, which it probably doesn't. I don't know what I'm talking about right now. Keir Thomas, though, depth, man. Depth. Depth. I mean, he's depth. No, he's not, Aslan. He's a starter probably. He's probably starting opposite Jermaine Johnson, and he'll be able to set the edge for you and give you some sort of physical force up front to really establish what you want to be on defense. So I got him at 13. You got Jamie Robinson.
Jamie, I think that's a guy that will really help the defense. I think we all know that. I think it's to players now, when you look at this list, you can probably all imagine that at the very top, it's a lot of dudes that did not start at Florida State. But you're starting to get into people now that have proven it at the college level. This isn't all just potential and hype. These are guys that have actually done it, and Jamie Robinson's done it. I mean, he might be the best tackler on the team. He certainly proved at South Carolina that he was one of the best tacklers in the conference. His tackling numbers are through the roof, Aslan, on Pro Football Focus. A lot of blue.
Let's pair our last two here. I got Robert Scott at 12, Jashawn Corbin at 11. Again, Robert Scott is your starting right tackle most likely. And I do think he'll make an impressive jump in year 2, physically, mentally prepared as well, too, to handle the workload of what he's being asked to do. And then Jashawn Corbin, that's probably me hedging a little bit. One of these running backs is going to get a lot of yards. I've got another guy ahead of him. But I just think Corbin, what he gives you on 3rd down, you mentioned that bulldozing kind of ability. Listen, man, if we're talking about this team having 5.5 over-under win total, the difference between maybe 5 wins and 7 wins is picking up a couple 3rd downs, maybe picking up a couple 4th downs, 4th and 1s, and Corbin showed that sort of knack. So that's why I have him so high, I think. I think that's probably a little bit higher for somebody that is only going to maybe get you a couple 3rd down, 4th down conversions to change the way a game is played and managed, but that's going to be valuable in some of those games. At 12 and 11, you've got Jarvis Brownlee and Amari Gaynor. 12 Brownlee, 11 Gaynor.
Yeah, and we've already talked about Gaynor. I'm interested to see what they can do. I think you got to tap into some potential there. They didn't do it. I didn't think they did a very good job with him last year. About what role he's going to have and let him do it. And because I do think he's talented. And then Brownlee, man, Aslan, I just think he's got a little dog in him. He's got a little what for him. Okay. And I mean dog in the good way. I just think that guy, he plays the right way. He plays with passion, a lot of confidence, earned confidence. And I just think I can't wait to see what that dude ends up being. I could be completely wrong. He might be. I thought Marcus Lewis was going to be great. You remember him from like 5 years ago?
Oh yeah,
DB
yeah.
that he came in with McFadden, and I thought he was going to be really good. Turned out he wasn't. Correct. I just think Jarvis Brownlee has something to him. I think he has a dog in him, and I think he's gonna like a junkyard dog. And I think he's gonna. I think he's gonna shine, man. I really like that dude a lot. I probably should have put him higher, honestly, because he wasn't a huge recruit. He not certainly for Florida State standards recently, when all their big time players are DBs, they're big time recruits. But he came in, won a job, and played well when he got a chance to play. I just like the way he plays a lot.
Yeah, I think 3rd highest returning grade for defensive backs for Florida State behind Jerrion Jones and Renardo Green. So definitely somebody who's going to be involved in the mix. That's our 20 through 11. That means top 10 next time we break these down. Go to warchant.com to check out the entire panel's composite. That's Ira, Gene, Jeff Cameron, as well as Corey and I. We'll talk recruiting after this, but first,
The clutch shot, the biggest hit. It's time for the Zaxby's Indescribably Good
Player of the Week.
all right, we're going to have to go a little bit kind of off script. It's the indescribably good player of the week. Not necessarily the week that was, but just it's part of the week. It's a day of the week. We talk about something that was indescribably good, like Zaxby's. Let's go to the year 1998. Corey, it'd be easy to pick a championship season. Plus, you're in Panama City Beach. I'm in Tallahassee, and the road that connects us is Highway 98. Who's your indescribably good player? One of the games that Florida State won in 98. Who stood out? Who was indescribably good for you?
I'm going to go with one that I think is pretty darn important for the future of. It ended up being a very important game for the future of Florida State. We all, well, not everybody remembers it, but if you're my age and you watch Florida State, you remember Winky, his second start ever, throwing 6 interceptions in a game, which was incredible against NC State. Back when Florida State was much, much better than NC State, they lost the game 24-7. I think he hit Peter Warrick for like an 80-yard touchdown on the first play. And then after that, it was nothing but interceptions. Just ridiculous. 6 interceptions. It's crazy. So the very next week is the week I'm picking. It's against Duke. Confidence, as you can imagine, was probably pretty hurt. You know, it had come crashing down. They had put Alton in at times against NC State. That didn't work too well. So they let Winky one more start at it. And that was against Duke. And my man went 11 of 19 passes against Duke, which should tell you something because 2 years later, I think they threw 50 and a half. But so they were kind of using kid gloves with him. But he was 11 of 19 for 241 and 3 touchdowns, 2 of which went to Peter Warrick. But I think when you look back at the next 2 years, that's a really, really important game in 1998. Indescribably important. So anyway, big deal for Chris Winky. I know there's a lot more memorable games from that year, but Chris Winky that day, the week after the NC State debacle, that's my indescribably good performance of 23 years ago.
Beautiful times. I'm going to go in November. I'm going to go Florida State grasping, clawing, hoping to get themselves into this newfangled formula that determines a national champion and hosting their bitter rivals. And it's the Rooster game. It's the P-Dub game. But, man, it was Mickey Andrews' tour de force. It was his magnum opus. Ask me what Florida did on third down against Florida State, Corey.
I believe they were 0 for, right?
0 for 13! Florida was 0 for 13 on third down. Florida State tops them 23-12. Also limited them to only 17 yards rushing on 20 carries. Do the math. Mickey Andrews, my Zaxby's indescribably good player of the week. All right, if you were holding your breath, I don't know why you were holding your breath. I mean, again, it's in the item description, everybody. Look at the podcast description. It'll tell you everything we do in the show and when we do it. So take advantage of it. Let's take advantage of Michael Langston's good nature. This guy's been working nonstop. And again, Michael, we don't want to talk too much about how hard you've been working because that'll take up more time, and then you'll be working even longer. So let's get this thing done with. Saturday, put a bow on what happened for everybody Saturday. I mean, including Friday, too. How about the weekend before we get to Sunday? 4 flipping commitments. Crazy. I didn't see it coming, but you had a good feeling about it.
Yeah, I did. It was a big weekend. Obviously, FSU getting 4 commitments. I don't think they're done, man, from this official visit weekend. I think I could potentially see like 3 more guys from that official visit weekend jumping on board. Just got off the phone with a few people about offensive tackle Jalen Early. I'm hearing FSU, Aslan. I'm hearing he's leaning towards FSU right now. And he already set a decision date for July 15th, so it's possible they could get some more good news there. I already feel good about Antavius Woody, and I think Jaron Willis is definitely a flip candidate to watch. That's definitely one to watch. And then tight end Jarrell Powers, who I think is going to end up at FSU. So there's a lot of good news that's came out of this official visit weekend. It's been pretty crazy, but it just feels like, I mean, this is just my feeling just on doing this, but it just feels like there's such a dramatic shift when these kids visit FSU. It's just a different – it's not something I've heard in a while since probably Jimbo 2010, the way kids talk about FSU after they visit. I don't know what they do in there, but they are doing one hell of a job because these kids are just coming out just – there's – everyone has a fun visit when you visit because you get there, you're inside the facility, they're having fun, but it's not like this where the views are like the way these kids are talking, and it's just it's a dramatic effect.
Yeah, man, this is Jimbo-esque with multiple guys committing over a weekend in the summer. This is this type of stuff that we got accustomed to in 14, 15, 16, 17. So it sounds like good days are back on the horizon. And in case some folks listen to the podcast are not as dialed into the recruiting, Jalen Early is a 6'5", 290-pound tackle out of Texas. Kid looks great. 4-star. 21st ranked offensive tackle in the nation. So that would be a huge get. He's already visited Ohio State officially, Texas A&M officially, Texas Tech. So some of the big boys after him, that'd be a huge, huge get.
Yeah.
All right, so they racked up on Saturday. Again, catch everybody up here. So it started on Friday with a Mississippi product, then they followed up with Kenaya Charlton as well as Quayshawn Sapp, and then they capped it all off. Who's the fourth one that came in? Bishop Thomas. Yeah,
defensive tackle.
I guess just a little bit. The most surprising one to you was Friday night. What's Travion Williams?
Yeah, Travion Williams out of Mississippi.
Crystal Springs.
I'm sorry.
Crystal Springs, Copiah County got to represent. It's my
there you go.
Yeah.
Marcus Woodson been headlining that recruitment. Chris Marv has helped some because Chris Marv knows the Mississippi area pretty well, and then Coach JP has been on it, defensive ends coach John Papachis, and then so it's been a combination of a lot of guys, and he really raved about his visit when he visited on June 5th. He really liked it a lot. And then, but still, they had to set this thing up where he canceled a visit. Officially, he's supposed to take a visit. I forget where. And then it opened up, and then FSU jumped right in there, got him in there, officially visited, lights out, committing to FSU. So, they did a really good – I think they really set the tone on June 5th about the feelings of how he feels about the culture, his fit into this defense. I think that stuff, they really set the tone, and then they just knocked it out of the park, grand slam on that official visit. They just killed it. They crushed it. So, that one surprised me the most because we didn't really have an indication that he was going to commit. But then I talked with a few FSU people, and they told me – we didn't think he was going to commit, but we thought there was a possibility he would.
Charlton and Sapp, these are I don't know if they're gams, I don't know if they're grown blank men, but they're large. They're large high school players, man. I like the way they sort of project, the way they're built, and the programs they come from. Those are two guys those are guys that you're thinking those are future starters for you. Not maybe in the immediate sort of timeline, but man, when those guys get 2 years or so under their belt, those guys will be some hosses.
Yeah, and then that's what they need on this. They don't have too many guys that just physically dominate people like how these two guys do. If you watch their film, they're physically they just manhandle people. Charlton's out there throwing people around. We've already seen what Sapp can do. Sapp's probably more fine-tuned, and they're guys that can help you play that physicality ball that Norvell and this staff want. They're gonna add to that. Got some guys that can create holes because we know Norvell loves to run the ball. Everywhere he's been, he's loved to run the ball. They run the ball a lot. So you want to get two road graders that are just bulls out there, and they got the two of them and these guys. So, if you're going to take a takeaway about this whole weekend, it's Mike Norvell and his staff understanding where things start. If you want to turn your program around, is you got to start in the trenches and build it up from there. Skill guys are fine and nice, but you want to win, you got to get guys in the trenches and he started with that. Most of the commits this weekend have all been in the trenches.
Yeah. Skill position guys without offensive linemen is like sports car without on a cobblestone road. You need someone to pave the way forward. They got a couple of these guys. And then on defense, man, this guy, I really hope they can hold on to him. I just feel like if he has anywhere near the senior season he put on film his junior year, that this kid is just going to blow up and everybody's going to be on him. Not that he's not had other opportunities, but Bishop Thomas, originally from St. Augustine High School in New Orleans, now in Orlando. Again, I mentioned it with Corey at the top of the show. Google Bishop Thomas Huddle, HUDL for Huddle, and just watch the first two clips. It'll be 20 seconds. And that's the kind of guy that's elite talent, right, Michael?
It is, and I don't think they have anybody that does what he does on their roster.
Yeah.
They have some good players, but to do what he does, the way he gets off, I mean, we got all excited last year about Tywan Malone, but this guy's even more athletic than that guy, as far as I'm concerned. Just he does stuff with quickness and violent hands, and the way he gets off blocks is just, it really jumps out. And then watching his motor, the way he gets after quarterbacks is just, it's not normal for defensive tackles to look like that. You don't see that too often. So yeah, he has got some incredible film, and yeah, I agree with you. If he shows that, certainly he's going to move up those position rankings and rankings overall. There's no question about it.
Yeah, as a bonus, watch his huddle film and hang on for 2 or 3 minutes. You'll probably even see him catch a couple passes from the slot.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're not kidding. Like literally, he's lined up slot receiver and just catching 10-yard curl routes because he's Bishop Thomas and he can. All right, Michael. So a dead period quickly is approaching, and what is the date on that? And then also catch people up on how the portal works in terms of the deadline for them to try to get somebody here from the portal. If that's, I mean, obviously they kept the seat open, and I'm sure they want to get it filled, but time's kind of running out on that one as well. Yeah,
right. From my understanding, the dead period starts July 28th at midnight, and then it runs all the way around to late July, from what I was told, possibly July 25th or around there. And then I think they'll open back up, and as I mentioned before, FSU's doing a little elite camp event probably on the 25th, which will probably be their last thing. And then with the transfer portal, the July 1st is the deadline if you want to enroll in a school and not losing eligibility. So yeah, transfers can probably still come into places, but if you don't get in by July 1st, you have to sit out a year unless you get some kind of special waiver.
Yeah, like you won't be eligible to play in 2021 if you don't show up by July 1st. So time's ticking on that, but again, this is something they've been keeping their eye on. All right, Michael, that was thorough, and it wasn't all that long. Well done, man. You're good at this. You're real good at this.
I got you, man.
All right, check out all of his work out over the Premium Recruiting Board, everybody. Michael Austin Cox as well there. I mean, quite literally working around the clock to keep you guys all updated on this recruiting stuff. And a few more days, man, and then hopefully some rest will be in the plans for Michael and Austin and everybody else. Michael, thanks for your time. Thanks to Corey, keeping it real, working even when he's on vacation, because that's what we do. We grind here at warchant.com. Thanks, everybody, for listening to Wake Up Warchant, fueled by DeLuna Coffee.
Warchant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. Warchant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WARCHANT30. That's WARCHANT30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WARCHANT30. Warchant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.